It's me. Had some anxiety, um, well, for days now, but sometimes it takes a while to actually build and actually be noticeable. Um, I got some stuff going on, and I'll tell you about it. But first, I want to tell you about my dream I had last night. Um, and one of the reasons I'm gonna share this is it's funny. I was thinking about it today, and it's like dreams are actually, as silly as it may sound, a really good example of how the emotional side itself works. The emotional side of our brain, it's flippant, it's changeable, it's fleeting. It doesn't hold on to anything. So for as much as we think things like my depression, I'm so sad, my emotions are just out of control. It's not your emotions. It's not your emotional side, I should say, that's causing that. That's the thinking part of the brain. I know it sounds kind of silly to say that because it's almost like duh for some people out there, but for others, not so much. So I just wanted to share that real quick. Anyway, you can see the anxiety in our dreams a lot of times. I think the people who are more functional minded, they probably remember their dreams less, and their dreams might be a little more, without them realizing it. I've heard some of the functional people's dreams, and I can see the structure to it. They can't, but I can see it. And you can see how it's not as flippant as like somebody who's more emotional minded, like a stronger emotional minded, especially. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Here's the dream. Okay, so there's a few parts to it. My dream flipped multiple times, different places, trying to connect to different people. This is the anxiety part. There we go. Driving fast on an expressway with Roz from Frasier, but the roads aren't flat. They move like, the sweet guy from Raggedy Ann and Andy, how his world would kept going like this and whatever. Actually, I think it works that way in a lot of dreams because, again, the emotional side does not keep things structured, does not hold things. And when it does, there's kind of a purpose to it. But again, that's another video. Anyway, but that's the movement of the roads that I'm driving on, and they're just slightly more sensible, so not as high, so this high, Anyway, the road movements, I should say, through a downtown area, including the reoccurring scary exit. I've had this exit in my dreams before, and I end up on it sometimes in my dreams. It's got hard turns, steep, really steep, lots of extra traffic. And the biggest issue of all is that it actually just takes me to a whole nother way that I didn't want to go to begin with, and now I'll have to backtrack in order to get back. Silly, right? Anyway, so oddly enough, I didn't take it this time, actually. I did take a wrong exit and ended up having to change lanes all the way across the sweet road, the ever changing, that was changing very steeply as I was making this all the way across. Came back down, went this way and that, just so I could get to the right exit again. I had to swerve because someone then built a building on the actual road, like it's a 2-lane. At that point, it's almost like a going downhill. It was like a 2-lane road, and somebody covered up the 1 lane. So now we only had one road for both ways of traffic between us. Luckily there wasn't anybody, coming up the road, so I was okay. Big brown brick building. Anyway, that was the end of that one. The other part of the dream was a mother. She was kind of like laying on the bed next to the girl, kind of sitting up, laying down, kind of thing, reclining, telling her she needs not, I think, settle for something and not give up. And that the reason why other people, languages, and places exist, hold on, bench, is so that we keep learning and explaining new things, or exploring new things. For some people, life always seems glum when you stay stuck, but your heart and mind need to move. You're depressed because you need change, and that's what I kind of get from that part of the dream. Also, that you should not fear change because it's the unknown, blah, 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 all that stuff, and it's like, well, duh. Anyway, skip that. Okay, other parts of the dream was like, it was a newscast or a documentary, like talking about this doll, either a brain doll or the brain behind a doll. Online, there is this picture of a man. All the while, this documentary is playing in the background. I don't know what it's saying. Every once in a while, I become aware that it's still talking, but it's like a documentary happening. There's a brain doll, or the man behind the doll, or the brain, I should say the brain behind the doll. Online, there's this picture of a man, and he, I guess, invented the doll. He's kind of staunch, functional looking in his 1800s clothing. So he doesn't look like somebody who would, like, want to invent a doll, want to do something. He just doesn't look like that type. You know how sometimes you'll look online and you'll be like, and they did what? They wrote these fantastical stories and they look like that? They look like their tie couldn't be out of place, their hat, their hair, the whole 9 yards. So it's kind of strange sometimes to think they're a fantastical thinker like that, and they're so staunch like that. But it's true. I mean, it is. Anyway, so, sorry, yeah. Scan back over to the doll picture. Again, we're like looking online, like if you were on Google or, and you were looking at picture after picture of something. And so we went back left to look at the actual doll that was made. And it's just a regular doll. Just looks like a regular doll. And then back to him again, back to the right. And now it's a moving picture, meaning it's like a video, but not, it's like the old style video, moving picture type thing. And it shows someone from the back getting their hair cut. It's long, straight, shoulder length hair. And then we pan back to the picture of the doll again, and then back to the inventor, all while the documentaries continued. But now it's a real man instead of just a picture of the man. I think he is getting his hair styled by someone because he's going to be playing the inventor like he's an actor, getting ready to play the inventor in a movie. And the guy looked like that actor from Monk, Harold Crenshaw. The one that was getting the haircut originally, the shoulder length hair, was actually supposed to be the doll, I believe, but my brain argued that and had to make it a person. It couldn't just go back to the picture of a person, a real person. It had to actually put a real person in its place, as if to say, no, not only is that not possible, you can't invent a doll that's hair just grows and naturally grows, that you can cut it and cut it and cut it. It doesn't happen that way. So it was almost like my brain was like mad, like, no, that's impossible, you can't do that. It does that sometimes. And then when it happens, sometimes it'll just redream completely. But luckily in this one, it just simply put a real person in its place. I think that was one of the reasons why I did that. Plus, it also makes sense because if you're going to do a documentary on something, you're probably going to make like a movie or want someone to act out that part. So anyway, in closing, because that was the end of that dream, and that was the end of my dreams at that point. So in closing, basically these dreams are my anxiety, and the reason why is it's my phone has not been working, which is why I haven't been online very much. It keeps shutting off. I'm surprised it's still on. It just keeps shutting off, like the battery just dies instantly. It could be at 50% or 20% and it just dies. It's weird. And I don't want to be online on the website and that happen when in the middle of a conversation with someone, all of a sudden it just dies. And even though there are other options I could use to connect with the website, I just can't. There's reasons for it, but I won't go into it because I'll just simply say I just can't. I want to, I just can't, right? That kind of thing. I know why, but I won't bore people with details. So it needs to be replaced, though, my phone. But then there's options, all kinds of options, and who knows, all that stuff. Yeah, that. So anxiety. Then I've got the surgery coming up, and that's also an anxiety because, the brain basically just needs to know what to expect and what's expected of it. And without that missing information, which of course I wouldn't get unless I had a crystal ball, the brain, the functional part of the brain, not the emotional, but the functional, gets stuck. It can't move. It can't make decisions without that information. So then it just shakes. Just the anxiety. And the anxiety is basically the mind searching for those answers. And that includes even through dreams. And let's see here. And LOL, I put that in there. Should see or hear the dreams that I had. Oh, yeah. These are just the dreams that I was aware of. But they say that we dream 3 times a night. So what about the other dreams that I had? Because that was all one dream. I believe that was all just one dream, all those pieces there. So, but they say we dream 3 times a night. So those other dreams are probably where my brain was actually doing real searching for that information. Then again, I don't know. Maybe I could see possible things here. It's possible. I don't know. Anyway, you can stop watching if you're not into me just rambling. I just wanted to share all this though, because one of the things I know, like that one dream with the girl, I can't convey. I feel like I can't convey how difficult when you don't know something. And it's no big deal. But when you don't know something and it's crucial, like life or death, and not even for you, but for someone else, it just makes things really, really difficult. Like the people I help online, that I really quick want to say hey to, because in particular I want them to know, like the other day, my phone just shut off on me and wouldn't come back on. And I was online at the time on the website. Yeah, that website that must not be named. I was Boots Babe, and cooking, sewing, stitching, He-Man, and the White Rabbit, and well, not you, but me, and the one that I was actually was for an appointment, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I guess I'm not supposed to call it an appointment, even though there's special time and date for something. It's just called an appointment usually. But the appointment, the exerciser, that poor kid. He's so locked. I can't get through to him. Like the White Rabbit, so locked. They're so locked. It's like they have blinders on, and they can only see what makes sense to them. And I can see what they're doing, and I can see what their brain is doing, and unfortunately the thing that they need, I can't give them. I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes you actually need someone to take you by the hand and take you step 1, step 2, step 3. Because you don't know. And when you don't know, you stop. That's the whole point. When the brain can't make sense of something, when it does not know what it's supposed to do, for a fact, so-and-so says I should do this, and so-and-so says I should do that, and sometimes I think maybe I should try that, but for a fact, because none of those other things will work sometimes. Sometimes they do. But when they don't, it's because your brain is looking for that for a fact. This is what needs to happen. This is like it's already happened. It's already written down in some book somewhere. It's already done. And this is we're following the story just the way it's supposed to happen. And in this next chapter, this is what you're supposed to do. This is the final decision that you make with that. And unless your brain knows that, they can't move. They can't do things. And that's why these people are so locked. And the things I need to do to help them unlock, I can't. I'm not an official person. I cannot officially tell people certain things. I have to keep certain things back because I can't. If anybody professional, like a doctor, therapist, whatever, counselor, whatever, ever hears these videos, I swear. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all that. So, yeah. It's really just tough. On top of that, the phone thing and the surgery thing, of course, I have my usual anxiety. I'm staring at it right now. Anyway, I'm not going to make this video super long. But I will say that I feel badly, though, because of Benj. Hold on a minute. Did you want to say hi? Okay. Great. Whoa. The whole world bounces.
Hi.
They can't see you.
Hi.
Hi. Nice. Good job, buddy. Oh, and then there, of course, I also want to shout out to Kyle and DXLC. There's another letter missing. I'm sorry. I'm doing this without looking at it. Robin. I need to make that video for you, even if you don't approve of it. I'll find some way to get it to you then. I mean, approve of it publicly. Although it would possibly help other people. Possibly. Anyway, I'll be back soon. Just needed to take some time to get all this stuff figured out. And this next week's going to be rough and blah, blah, blah. All that. So, all right. That's enough. Bye, guys.